Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. I am here with Ona from Ona's Tarot. Hi, Ona.
Hello, hello.
Live from Chicago. And of course, why are we together? Because it's time for moon shadows, moon shadows. And we're
Yeah,
going to be looking at the new moon in Virgo. That's happening on the 2nd. On the 2nd. September sort of starts off pretty uh woo, right?
yeah. That's Labor Day. That's Labor Day, which
That's right.
on Monday it seems like it should be the first, but it's the second, and that's Labor Day, and that's new.
I think, having a plethora of Virgo myself and you having a plethora of Virgo yourself, um, w- I mean, Labor Day is perfect for Virgo. Even, and of course, Labor Day always happens when the sun's in Virgo, but it's not always a new moon in Virgo. And Virgo is about the joy of work, the joy of finding something that excites you, that's always in a way challenging you, right? And how do I improve? How do I improve? How do I improve? That's really what Virgo is looking to do. Make it better.
Yeah,
Make it better.
and its ruler, Mercury, just went direct, so
That's
it's
right.
further, right?
It went direct. It went direct in at 24 degrees of Leo. Leo. And so, of course, it brings in that Leo energy. It's not just Virgo, it brings in that Leo energy and self expressive, creative, a little panache, because Virgo isn't known for its panache,
Yeah,
but now it is because we have the dispositor of that new moon in Virgo in the sign of the feline.
it's gonna be a good moon. I think it has a couple challenges, but doesn't every new moon have some challenges?
What, yes, and the new moons actually lately have been kind of nice. The full moons, on the other hand, have been ass kickers,
Don't
make it
forget them.
ass kickers. And that's when we do moonshine. So you're in charge of the ass kickers and I'm in charge of the isn't this a lovely moon? So yeah, so there's a couple of things that happen right before this new moon. On the first, actually, the first thing that happens is Uranus stations retrograde. I think Uranus is at like 28 now, 28 of Taurus. It didn't get out of Taurus this year. It gets out of Taurus next year. It pokes its little foot
That's going to be interesting.
into Gemini, yes. And but then goes back into Taurus and those last degrees. But this this Uranus changing directions is still changing directions conjunct Algol. So we still have this sort of shifting in the energies, right? We saw how that worked over the summer in July and August,
Yeah,
and uh, and I think we're going to see it. We certainly saw it with the well, we saw it with the Republicans after Trump got the attempt was made on his life. He got very popular, and then we had the switcheroo, the great known as the great switcheroo in the vernacular, and then it all changed and turned around. And I feel like that whole Trump stuff is just starting to just
well, right. Yeah.
there'll still be people screaming and yelling and him doing silly. I mean, that thing he did at Arlington is just
It's just it's such a stunt. It's almost like marketing.
No, that's exactly, well, that's what he is. He's a
Any
salesman. He's a
press is
marketing.
okay, even if it's bad press.
Right. There's no such thing as bad press. That's their thing. Except, that's true maybe when you're selling real estate and maybe, but when you're running for president and you're dissing those who gave up their life for the country, whether you think it's a loser move or not, you have, and with the other thing that's happening on the first is Pluto's moving back into Capricorn.
That was the other one, yeah. So
Right.
this,
So that really shifts, like, because Capricorn's about tradition and it's
yeah,
the last degree. And it's like, hey,
yeah,
so that's not going to get better for him. That whole thing is just going to continue, I think, to just from an astrological perspective, not from my own
that
wishes.
degree, that's what you call the aneretic degree, right? And
Yeah.
that is where a lot of the shadowy stuff is exposed. But kind of like the end of the line.
The end of the line. It's the period at the end of a very long, dramatic, and transformational cycle. I mean, think of where we were in 2008 when we started
Yeah,
Pluto in Capricorn. We had the banking crisis. We
yes.
almost had a worldwide, I mean, a lot of countries suffered from that. I mean, we suffered too. I mean, we almost lost our house. We bought our house at the top of the market, and the next year, well, it wasn't the next year, it was a few years later, we were underwater and didn't do nothing but live in the house for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So it was
I made real estate choices that just fell into like the Wheel of Fortune lucky pattern of at that height of the market, sold a home, paid cash, and then it just made no money. That in Tennessee, it stayed flat. It just stayed flat, but leaving, the market here was incredible. Let me get the
okay. He has something to say. And this wouldn't be a moon shadows without my favorite little Cancer moon faced Frenchie. He's even the color of the moon, this guy. Chibbies. Hi, Jibs. How you doing? You
I
beautiful
don't know,
boy.
lately he just screams. He just screams at me and I don't know what's going on. He wants things, but he had his dinner early so that he wouldn't be like this because this is like dinner time and that's probably why he's yelling. He thinks, "Oh, she doesn't know she fed me early. This is dinner time." So that's
I'm gonna
probably,
trick her. I'm gonna trick her. Look at
you
her.
know, you ate.
He's like, no, mom, I didn't. That was yesterday.
Okay, I'll take him for another walk later.
So I
But
hear it's hot. I hear you say it's hot there.
it's starting to cool off. It wasn't super sunny today, but it was humid as heck. And
Yeah.
honestly, it's so weird because there are some leaves that are already on the ground falling from the trees, and the trees are starting to pink up a little bit, and it's 80, 90 plus degrees. We broke a record on Monday.
Well, you had a nice week for the Democratic National Convention. They said it was kind of chilly actually.
It was perfect.
It was perfect. Yeah. We're having that weather now, so thank you for that. It was except that this morning you could see your breath, which when you still have tomatoes and peppers in the garden, it's a little scary, but it's supposed to warm up now. It's only going to be a day. I think it was like 49 this morning.
The peppers, you pick those in the fall anyway. When eat like the hot peppers, when there's no more leaves on the plant, that's when you're picking the peppers. And you pick tomatoes in October.
Yeah, yeah, we have tomatoes well into October, even when it gets kind of chilly. Things don't really die off here till about November. There's that one day in November that you wake up and everything's dead.
Yeah, frozen. Yeah.
All the leaves are black. The hydrangeas are like
I
And then
know.
you're like, okay, well, it's time for that time, I guess. Very
Yeah.
scorpionic in its nature.
They won't go, they might have a little shock thing going on, but they won't perish in a couple of 50-degree nights.
Right, right. Yeah. No, I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay. It's been okay the last couple of seasons. We've gotten pretty far into October, before, we have to call in the troops. You want to look at the chart?
Yes.
All right, let me. I've been
Good.
having I've been
Oh,
having technical difficulties today, and it has nothing to do with my computer. It's this computer today.
we're
All
getting
right.
to this, it's gonna take time. Like one day we can't blame planets anymore. Oh, Mercury just went direct. Well, your excuse when it was retrograde was it was retrograde. Now it's like, oh, it just went direct. I still get mixed up with my timelines.
Um, yeah, this Mercury retrograde was a bit, excuse me, was a bit of a bugaboo for me. I thought like I don't know what I thought. I thought I had done stuff and then I hadn't. So I was like, oh, I got myself in a little trouble. Nothing that I can get arrested for, but I like to be, I respect other people's time as I expect them to respect my time. And when it looks like I'm just like blowing something off when it's really not, that's not what it is.
It's not. And Virgo makes you hyper aware oh, I need to organize. Oh, I need to, you know, I think the Virgo season, Sun in Virgo makes you hyper aware that you've got it. And then you notice, oh, forgot to do that. Or,
Oops.
yeah, it's been a little bit of an awakening for sure.
Okay, so we have interestingly enough, this 2nd of November is actually a 19-1 day, which is the sun, right? Full illumination, right? The sun is about revelation, and I do think there's going to be some revelations coming out, with this new moon, and also not just because of that, but look at the symbol here the Sabian symbol for 12 degrees of Virgo. After the wedding, the groom snatches the veil away from his bride. According to James Burgess, that should be initiation, not initiation. See what I mean? Virgo. Um, as a bride, oh, my Virgo is like, I'm having like a moment. As a bride, the mysteries await the ardent seeker to snatch away the veil that has preserved and thus deepened her secrets, unveiling the mysteries of all types of intimate relationships. Says, having trained the mind to ever optimistic and expectant, the power is achieved to unveil what is hidden. Knowledge itself is revealed to the one whose mind is clear and whose eyes are sharp. Yet the seeker may well need to follow a well-trod path of guidance before being capable of meaningful self-determination. And so I think this sort of speaks to us of illumination of something, but then there's work ahead before we can actually utilize the information that comes in. That's sort of what that says to me. Do you have a sense about that, or just
I do.
chart in general? Yeah.
I feel strongly about this citrusy scent taste thing going on, that it is sort of a tonic, a cleanser. We use citrus to remove things. It wakes you up. So I feel like it's still got that going on. Even reading this, that something needs to be stripped like paint, revealing what's underneath, how cool it looks. Not just because my front door got stuck closed, but that kind of thing, literally,
Yeah.
is maybe that is why I smell the citrus, because I need to strip some paint off my doors.
Some
My
citrus strip.
that stuff that's safe for,
Citrus
yeah,
That stuff works pretty good, especially on latex paint. You put it on and then, but then it's good to put like some plastic wrap to let it like sort of, so it doesn't dry out. And
Keep humidity.
it's not particularly toxic to dogs. It doesn't have a weird smell. It smells like citrus, so.
That is what I'm picking up on, that there's something that needs to like come off.
To get unstuck, right? To allow when your door gets stuck in feng shui, it's not good because the chi can't come in.
Right.
So it's time for you to open your door, Ona. Isn't this what this is on your, is it on, now I'm going to say this. Now, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. Isn't this on your Uranus?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So it was. It's like, you know, and honestly, it is all making so much more sense to me now, because not just running into the lady that had a basket full of tangerines last night. That's what I need to really focus on. The home, making the chi flow
Yep.
in the home,
That's
right?
right.
And stripping away what is sticking together.
That's right. What's keeping you stuck?
If I have a message from the moon.
And of course, one of the themes of Virgo is purification, right? Is purification and also nurturance. It's about separating the wheat from the chaff. It's also probably a good time to get to that pile that's in that room that you haven't gotten to because you've been too busy. This is for me. I have piles of stuff that are waiting for me to attend to. I think that's what I'll do this weekend. It'll be
Yeah,
my labor. It'll be my hard Labor Day, is to cleanse out some of my dusty corners, as it were, so that chi can flow, so the energy can flow. I think that's a good and who knows what you'll find,
that's
you
what
rip
makes
the
sense.
veil away and all of a sudden you're like, that's where that's been for the last 3 years. I was looking for that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that like really crappy, rainy, cold day to get that closet organized. So when you're the one that I could just close the doors, but I got to get in there and organize stuff and find those things. Maybe Virgo season, maybe probably not Monday because I'm working Monday, or it's going to be nice this weekend. I don't want to have my head in the closet all day.
Right, right. Well, again, Virgo season, if you really think about it, lasts about a month.
Yeah,
So
I have fun.
you don't have to do it today. You don't have to do it over the weekend, right? Um, I want to just point something out about this chart. I mean, look at so first of all, we have the transpersonal planets, right? Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. Look at this. They're all in these harmonious relationships with each other. And this is such a golden opportunity to evolve. It's all about evolving.
Yeah,
And we've seen it, right? We've seen it with our own eyes from where we were to where we are now. And what we've seen in between has been miraculous. And I don't know.
I think that's a good point. That's the window. There's a window for this energy to flow. So you should be able to have really sincere intentions because the portal's open.
and if you notice, all of the transpersonals are retrograde now.
I did. I didn't want to say that, but I was wondering when they were last in that time in this configuration as they were going.
I don't know ever. I mean, you would have to
Oh,
research that to see.
okay.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
and then all it's sort of at these last degrees,
yes.
at these last degrees before we move into something like totally new.
It is going to be totally new.
Yeah. Yep. And this full moon, I mean new moon, sorry, is opposite Saturn. So we have to keep reality in the mirror, so to speak. Um, and it's actually, if you look, I mean, it's kind of wide. It's like Mars is not quite square that, but you could put a Mars, right? It's certainly Saturn and Jupiter are square each other. You could
Yeah.
add that, make it wide, and we have a T-square, right? So it's an exciting time. And we do have Chiron now, retrograde, and it's going to be going back to make its second Chiron return for the United States chart, because the Chiron of the United States is at 21. So
Right.
that's going to happen. That's going to happen between now and the election. And then any number of things. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to come down, I think. And I think we can't get caught up in so much in the nitty-gritty of it. I think you have to step back and see the pattern in it and know that on the other side of it is the light. Well,
Yeah.
the light is already there. I mean, we're ripping off the veils,
Yes.
right? We're
Yeah.
ripping off the veils.
Do you feel like this because it's Mercury's, newly station direct and it's a Virgo and sun and moon, that it's going to be kind of a racing, like think think carefully before you talk? That's for my
Oh, I see what you're
right.
saying.
I remind myself
Um, uh,
all the time.
well, if you notice, Mercury is pretty tight trying to Chiron. So I would say what you mean. Focus what you're saying. Like my husband has Mercury in Aries, and he's a man of few words, and he doesn't like to repeat himself. So, but when he says something, he's like right on because he doesn't say it unless he means it.
Yeah.
And so people who just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and they don't mean nothing. And then there's those people who, what did your mom used to call it? Probably what my mom called it, the strong silent type, right?
Yeah.
We're all going to be the strong silent type. And I think we have to hold back on the things that we say and go to the core of it. I think that's probably judicious at this time.
I feel like the trying to Chiron is it's okay to talk about your wounds, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's open to that. It's open to
Yeah.
and the thing with Chiron or the good the perk of Chiron is within the womb is the balm of the healing. So it's like the hair of the dog back in the day when I used to I guess drink dog hair. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying.
I
It's
do, and it works.
it does, yeah.
I know.
Yeah. That Sunday morning, the Sunday morning Bloody Mary, while I was in college
The
and
Bloody
graduate
Mary was the
school
cure. Bloody
was the
Mary was
cure.
the cure, and it was
It
a
was
flight to Colorado going skiing. And somebody said, "No, you need a Bloody Mary." I'm like, "No, I couldn't even stand straight up. My stomach hurt so bad. I had a Bloody Mary. I felt great, and that's all I drank the rest of the trip."
well, there is a whole lot of vitamins in a Bloody Mary, a lot of vitamin C. The horseradish probably does something to you, and the celery stick isn't bad either. So
I think um, hangovers are alcohol withdrawal.
yeah,
And if you can bring yourself to like half a beer where you slowly withdraw
right.
and hangover is better, or you just suck it up and go out for eggs.
I have to say I am so happy I haven't had a hangover in decades.
Yeah, right? You remember them though. You remember them,
I
right?
do, and that's why I haven't had a
That's right.
hangover in decades.
Right. Exactly. Like you don't have to be hungover. That's a choice.
Yeah, yeah. I remember thinking in chiropractic college, we would go. we have parties, and that it was always fun. I mean, we had such a fun group of people. But then there was a time when I would ask myself every time I'd wake up from a party like that, and I'd say, was it worth it? And if I said yes, then I was like, oh, it was worth it. And then one day I said, is it worth it? And the answer came back no. And I was like, all right, so I'm done. Done that, did that, done that. See you later. And better
And
for me.
or the nursing students had our own special mugs. On Wednesday night, we would go to like Poor Phil's, some like bar or at nursing school. And those mugs they gave, it was like half off, and then nurses night was half off. Like we drank for tips. We just like sent tips every Wednesday night. Nursing students in the middle of the week.
Yeah, we used to do that. We'd come out of anatomy lab, and we would go to El Torito's because they had they would put out the little spread, and then they'd have like $2 margaritas.
Yes, they did.
And we would be like, and of course we were already kind of stoned anyway because of her formaldehyde. And we'd be there, and people would come into the bar and say, do you smell that?
Yeah.
It was us, because we had,
Yeah.
because it gets in your hair, and so your hair smelled like
Everything does.
formaldehyde.
Product, it's got to be toxic.
Wicked, wicked. Luckily, it was only 2 semesters. It was gross anatomy, and then head, face, and spinal anatomy. It was
Yeah.
cool though. I mean, it was kind of weird, but it's really fascinating. And I remember thinking, wow, it's just like it is in the book, which is silly because they drew from the body to the book. But I'm like, look, it's just like oh, I was such a dum-dum back
I
then.
would have loved to have been a medical illustrator. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I just had a client used to do that. Yeah,
That's
it's
okay.
cool. You have to be good. You have to be a good artist, I'll tell
Yeah.
you. You
Yeah.
really do. Yeah. Anyway, those
So
were
the
the
moon
days.
feels like that. It feels like see, we were just talking about it being sort of maybe a good day to fast, or, just do clear liquids or something that where you feel good.
Yeah,
The body feels good.
yeah, yeah.
Or
Taking your, and this, of course, the new moon in Virgo is always a good time to start a health regime, right? I
it's the
mean,
second brain, Virgo
yeah,
uh,
the gut. Yeah,
goals.
yeah, yeah.
Second brain,
And
Mercury.
then there's a third brain, but only men have that.
Needs
It's called thinking with your little head, right? Sorry. I
everyone.
was I was just going back to the old college days for a minute there.
So
All
the
right. So I think so as far as it because we always do a little something on I gave myself a stitch because I laughed too hard. Um Walter stuff, right?
yes, yes, I
Uh,
did I'm feeling very citrine about this.
well, that makes sense. Citrine is sort of like solar plexus, right? Carnelian is belly.
The carnelian, I always feel very attached to in a Leo kind of way. It's like a supercharge for me to be creative, and I've been wearing them the past 2 days, and I've gotten some good
I
stuff
can
done.
see it on your wrist. You're carnelian.
Oh
The
yeah,
other thing
this is
about carn
this is the permanent, like air, water, fire. Um,
a lot of rings, they would carve the heads of warriors in the carnelian.
yeah,
So it's a protective stone.
really stone, right?
Yeah, so we like
Yeah,
carnelian. We
yeah.
like of course I also like tiger eye, because it's the balance between the earth and the fire energy. So this is a really good time between the Virgo and the Leo. I mean the Leo Virgo time. I think Tiger Eye is a great
You know,
balancing stone.
Yeah, and I think something that really, any kind of exercise or something that helps you ground yourself, because Virgo is an earth sign, even though it's ruled by a planet that is more about communication and head, that it does help. It does help. I sneak on, I take my flip-flops off and walk in the grass, even though I can't really feel it, because I'm like, just just like lets the energy back into the earth. That's just a little too much.
So I have my little Virgo thing back here. I put a picture of this on my
I
community page.
just
A client
love that.
turned this on his lathe.
I
Him and his wife came for readings to here, and this is from the tree that's sort of down that fell.
Is that not the
So it's a maple, and it's got, I forget what they call this, begins with a C, but it's so beautiful. And then so grateful. I mean, that is such the sweetest thing. And then I'm going to put that over there so I don't drop it. And then, of course, I have my favorite Virgo on my Virgo. Yeah, I tell you. Wait a minute. No, here's the pointing finger. The pointing finger. And then, of course,
Virgo? He would have
the
been good.
hermit, right? The hermit. So this is all my Virgo stuff.
I will, I'm sure, collect some things over the weekend and get, as I get more involved into, and I'm working on Monday, so I'll be practicing moon stuff on Sunday, especially with giblets. He always likes he knows that Sundays are oracle days for him.
Yes.
And
It's his big day. Big day
yeah,
to shine.
it's to pick a card and then post more. But there's always, as like I get into it and it gets closer, then I know it's the moon. It's not, I'm trying to tune into, and some other interference comes in, like today's moon. Or, think, I always try to immerse myself in the moon cycles, and the Dorgan best symbolism I could think of, and smelling and tasting the citrus. My jasmine is blooming, the lavender's blooming, the citrus is heavy. But that idea of and stick something before the chi can flow.
I picked Mystic Sister Oracle for this. Bast. She's she's the goddess of fun. She's connected to cats. Let's see what it says.
Is she fall?
Well, it's the cats, could be Leo. Yes. Let's see what it says. Domesticity and nurturing. So you were right. You're going to stay at home, right? The Egyptian goddess Bast is the protector of the household. She is widely known today as the cat goddess, the queen of domestic affairs. As a fertility goddess, she protects mothers and their children and brings health to the whole family. In Egyptian magical text, an offering to Bast was made by women with hopes that they would enable them to conceive or help the crops grow. Be cat-like in nature. Bast reminds us to land on our feet in any situation by using positive, humorous, and playful attitudes as our best defense. Sounds like Kamala, doesn't it? She is the master of multitasking and deftly manages all matters of the home. Drawing this card turns your attention to your own domestic life, to fluff your own nest, and care for loved ones with your full attention. And of course, that'll mean Charlie because he needs my full attention at all times.
And giblet stock, who's napping now? No, it is. It is. That feels very Virgo-y.
Yeah. Take care of cleanse, organize, neaten up, get ready for the new energy coming in 2025.
Yeah. It's a good you go through stuff like you said. Oh, I thought I had that I lost that 3 years ago.
I know. I'm going to find a whole lot of stuff when I start my cleaning. I know it.
You visit a timeline, you visit an
Yes.
energy, right? And you're like, oh yeah, okay.
My husband calls it um strolling down memory lane. He's
Yeah,
like, let's clean that room and no strolling down memory lane. And it's hard because you pick up something and you're like, oh,
mhm.
remembering. The Aries is like, let's get it done. And the
Let's get
Cancer's
it
like,
done.
wait a minute, I think my sister sent me this back 5 years ago.
Yeah, no, no. I definitely am one of those people that likes to just like, I'll get rid of it.
You and Michael remind me of each other. You have a similar, no nonsense. Get
No
it
nonsense.
done.
I hear that all the time. Did you throw? Nope, I didn't throw out anything. Really.
They didn't believe you, did they? Nor should they have. Well, Ona, as always, it's been a great pleasure to spend this new moon shadows episode with you. So we will be getting together tomorrow night
Yes.
for Mystic Sisters Live on this channel, Victoria Skirbo. So join us. We're doing 7 Eastern, 6 Central,
Yeah.
and we'll probably thematically we could talk about being, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I know you've mentioned like feminine rising. I'm all over it. All over it.
Welcome
Whatever kind
to
of
the
fun.
revelation.
Yes. And yeah, it'll be good. It's always like interesting what we like come up with and how the astrology mirrors what, I feel like sometimes I'm just a puppet. Like
Me
let
too.
spirit trust the universe and yeah, this is hard, but you're gonna get through it kind of, you know, your guides are at your side
That's right.
all the
We
time.
just we just have to remember to ask for help when we need it. And just, when it's not exactly the way we want it to be, we have to give thanks and let it go. And good things come. I mean, my life is a example of my life has been an example of when I allow things to happen, it's usually good. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can't fight it.
don't fight it. Don't fight the feeling. All right, guys, we love you. Take care of yourselves. Start a new regime. Do a fast or cleanse or whatever you have to do to make your life run more smoothly.
Yeah,
Yes,
got this. Got this.
you do. You got it. She's got it. I got it. We got it. We got it. Take care, everyone. Namaste.